So President Trump was caught doing one of the deadly sins, committing one of the deadly sins, and that was voting by mail. Yes, I said it. He voted by mail. Can you believe that? Like, I thought, I was under the impression, as a huge Donald Trump fan, as a huge MAGA supporter, I was under the impression that voting by mail was fraudulent. It was cheating. It was even non-democratic.
Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots, to end mail-in ballot, because they're corrupt because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place.
Let's go ahead and get into the full story here. This is from the AP. Trump casts Florida mail ballot as he pushes Congress to severely limit that voting option. Palm Beach County voter records show the president voted by mail in a Tuesday special election for state legislative seats, and that his ballot has been counted. Earlier, in-person voting in the contest ran through Sunday when Trump was still at his South Florida estate. The White House said Tuesday that Trump's ire is at states using universal mail-in voting, not individual instances of voters needing accommodations to vote by mail. A spokeswoman pushed back specifically at the idea that his voting practice contradicts his push for new federal voting rules. I think it kind of does, because you were very clear on your stance on mail-in voting. In fact, there have been other bills that Republicans are proposing that would just ban mail-in voting entirely. You were in South Florida. You're always in Florida. You could have went. Like, I'm also surprised to kind of see him do this. This is like a blunder that I wouldn't expect from him. Not the whole hypocrisy part. That is like a part of the package that is just expected. But him just going and voting in person, it could have been such a good marketing move. Like, this is how you do it, folks. It's not that hard. I'm the president. I'm the most powerful man in the world. I'm also the most busiest man in the world. And even I can find the time to go in and vote the right way in person. You would never see sleepy Joe Biden doing something like this. He probably always votes by mail, like anything like that. So this was a missed opportunity for Trump, but yeah, whatever. As President Trump has said, the Save America Act has common sense exceptions for Americans to use mail-in ballots for illness, disability, military, or travel, but universal mail-in voting should not be allowed because it's highly susceptible to fraud, said White House spokeswoman Olivia Wales in a statement which has been debunked 1 million times. And how do you enforce these exceptions? How do you determine who meets like these exceptions? Like, how do you determine what illnesses, what disabilities, what if an illness strikes you like 2 days before the election on election day? This is where, when you try to regulate and add unnecessary roadblocks, you're just making the process worse. In fact, this is what Republicans normally complain about, in like over-regulating and putting red tape all over shit. Like, what happened? A report for the Brookings Institution published in 2025, I don't know why I said that like that, 2025 found that cases of mail-in voting fraud occurred in only, let me make sure I get the amount of zeros right here because that's very important, 0.00043% of total mail ballots cast, or about 4 cases out of every 10 million mail votes. I don't know how often, like how much more we can give to prove that there isn't election fraud. There isn't election fraud in mail-in voting. I always will go back to the Heritage Foundation's own numbers on this. They've only tracked approximately like 1,800 cases of voting fraud since 1982. And you can see that all of these instances ended up in like a conviction or arrest or some type of penalty. But we never talk about that. Instead, we just want to say there's widespread fraud, mail-in voting, so susceptible to fraud. Like, on what basis? What basis? Anyways, Trump has fixated on mail ballots since he began falsely claiming that his 2020 presidential election loss to Democrat Joe Biden was the result of fraud. Multiple U.S. courts and Trump's own attorney general have found no evidence of fraud that affected the outcome, despite the COVID-19 pandemic increasing the share of the electorate that casts mail ballots that year. We're the only country in the world that does it that way. Corrupt as hell, Trump said last week at the White House when hosting Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin. I don't know if I said that right. Dozens of countries, including European democracies that are traditional U.S. allies, use some form of mail-in voting. He even mentioned Vladimir Putin, very smart man, that Putin was telling him you don't do mail-in voting. We don't do mail-in voting. And guess what? Not that Russia is a great example to use in terms of elections, but Russia also uses mail-in voting. Trump offered an endorsement late Monday in the House contest via his Truth Social platform. There's a very important special election tomorrow, Tuesday, March 24th, for Florida State House District 87 in beautiful Palm Beach County. To all the great patriots in Florida State House District 87, get out and vote for John Maples. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Trump wrote, without mentioning that he had voted by mail at all. Yeah. Again, missed marketing opportunity. Go out, shoot a little fucking rally video, campaign video, whatever you want. You love doing this shit, and you just missed it entirely. What are you doing here? You can tell that he has lost a lot of steps. 2016 Trump, 2020 Trump, he probably would have voted in person and made a whole big deal about it. Not that I think it matters, but what are you doing, Trump? You're losing it. Republican Maples lost Tuesday to Democrat Emily Gregory in the district, which includes Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. So that is the cherry on top. His candidate that he endorsed didn't win, which is great, in his own county where his own Mar-a-Lago is at. That's great. So are Republicans going to make a big deal about this blatant hypocrisy? Of course not. Of course not. Republicans can only see hypocrisy when it is a Democrat or someone that they are opposed to doing it. For the record, I don't have a problem with mail-in voting. I think it's fine that Trump voted by mail. I think that is an option that every American should have, regardless of illness or disability. That should just be an option. All right, if you could prove that there is actually widespread fraud through this system, sure, we could look at ways to improve it and clamp down on it. But the fact of the matter is, there just isn't any fraud in this system that is at all measurable. Don't go around advocating to get rid of mail-in voting and then mail-in vote. That is peak hypocrisy. And I'm excited to see Republicans defend it if they even acknowledge it at all. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.